Welcome to A Slice of Therapy. This podcast was created with Anchor. And if you've not heard of Anchor, let me explain. It's free. It's a really easy way to make a podcast. And it helps me because I can just do this every day directly into my phone, because there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. So if you fancy making a podcast too, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. So today I want to talk about something that perhaps is best referred to as our inner compass. And what I mean by inner compass is just like a compass can guide you through any sort of terrain by telling you in what destination, what direction you're meant to be travelling in. We have an inner compass in us, which kind of lets us know when we're off course, lets us know when something crops up that really is not a good fit for us. And you'll notice your inner compass in a number of different ways. The first way might be that feeling that you get in your stomach when you meet someone new and you just know that they're not for you. You just feel it, and it's an instant thing. You feel it in your belly. That's an example of our inner compass. Or that thing where somebody tells us something or even asks us something where we're meant to do a certain task or commitment or activity as a result. And you just feel it in your stomach. It's like, oh, I don't want to do that. And there's that sinking feeling in the stomach that even if your mind can say, well, actually, this is a good idea, or your mind might say, actually, this is something that you should do, or actually, this is the kind of person that you curry favour with rather than turn down. Whatever chatter your mind comes up with, your body goes, ugh. I remember receiving a business request. Actually, it was a business related thing where somebody asked me to do something, and they were prepared to pay for it. And I noticed my inner compass in that moment. I noticed that as attractive as it was to get that business, a big part of me went, oh. My inner compass really started to rattle. And thankfully I said no. And the only reason I said no to that opportunity is because I recognised that I'd been stung so many times by noticing the compass, noticing that feeling in my stomach, noticing me going, ugh, but not actually acting upon it, ignoring it and doing the thing anyway. And I'd been burned a few times on that in quick succession. And so thankfully, that had come to teach me that feeling in my stomach should this time actually be paid attention to. And I turned down the opportunity and I was instantly a lot lighter. If I'd have said yes, I'd have then had an instant dread of, oh, I've got to do that thing. And I suppose really this is where the importance of saying no comes in. But the thing is that inner compass is a really great guide as to the things that we shouldn't say no to. Because the things that we should say no to are, and when I say should, I mean that we're best saying no to, are the ones where our inner compass really rattles at the very idea. And I don't just mean, that something is uncomfortable. I don't just mean that something is maybe you can't be bothered in the moment. I'm talking about that inner compass, that really strong, visceral feel of every fibre in me does not want to do that. Every fibre in me does not want to spend time with this person. It's like there's some inner wisdom that just knows and just responds and gives the signal. And so I've been thinking about that today, largely because I was hearing somebody else refer to how it impacts on them. And so the idea is kind of forefront in my mind because I remember that feeling too. I recall that feeling where my own inner compass really tries hard, usually through my belly, to give me a message that this is not something that's good for me. This is not something that's right for me. And the problem often is, as I've discovered in the past, is when we say yes to something where every fibre of us is screaming no. And yet we do it for other reasons of politeness or duty or obligation or cultural training, that our society has taught us these are the things that one ought to do. And so we have this tussle going on between every fibre of our being saying, oh, no. And yet our mind lecturing us on how we ought to do this thing for some good reason or other. And so it's helpful sometimes to notice when the mind is telling you that you ought to do something and the body is telling you that you really don't want to, that place inside your stomach is really protesting. Not with words or thoughts, but just with that feeling of no. Because often, that feeling in our stomach that we get, the one that is so, so heavy that it tells us that this is something really visceral in us, it's often worth listening to. And so I suppose my invite is for you to connect with that. When your inner compass is very clearly leading you somewhere, or where your inner compass is very clearly dragging you in an opposite direction, that when a request comes, if it was up to your inner compass, it would just drag you in the opposite direction. No way do I want to do that thing. No way do I want to be with that person. And in the noticing of that, maybe it's something that, I don't know, in your own recollections, you can recall the times where your inner compass has been right. Those times where you've listened to your inner compass, those times where you've decided that the shoulds and the oughts override your inner compass, and what actually happened when the oughts and the shoulds went out against that feeling where every fibre in your body wants to do the opposite to what you apparently ought to do, and how it worked out. And of course, I don't know the answer to that. But my suspicion is, if you're anything like me, that inner compass actually has a lot of wisdom. And that at the very least, it's worth listening out for. It's worth giving some attention to. It's worth giving that inner compass the microphone, at least, to share its wisdom with you, and not jumping into a decision just because we apparently ought to do something. And I wonder what difference that makes for you as you recall those times where your mind and your inner wisdom have been at war with each other, in conflict with each other, and what difference it might make for you going forward to reconnect with that inner wisdom and give it more of a voice. So that's all I wanted to share. If you like this, share it on. It always helps. And if you want to work with me directly, one-to-one, I'm Alun Parry. I'm at liverpoolpsychotherapy.co.uk. And if you want to see these videos, then you can go to asliceoftherapy.com. And of course, you can subscribe to the podcast for free wherever you get them. So thanks for listening, and I'll be back with another one tomorrow.